Hey everybody, this is graphic designer Roberto Blake, and in today's video, I'm going to answer a question from one of you guys. I'm not going to name any names, but one of you actually asked me if graphic design is a dying profession. So the short answer is no. The long answer is no. Are you freaking kidding me? Graphic design isn't a dying profession. There's no way. In fact, graphic design is on the rise and probably is more lucrative than it's ever been. Now, again, I'm prefacing that based on some personal experience and also what other people in the space are telling me is going on with them in 2015. But overall, I can qualify everything I'm saying here. Now, there are specific professions and areas of graphic design that either are having a shift in their industry in terms of the prices and salaries that they can command, versus others are being more heavily praised. And also the globalization stuff is eating up the middle. So again, there's a lot that goes into this. So I have a whole rant on Fiverr and what they're doing to the graphic design community and how they're devaluing it. But I won't get into that rant here. I have a whole video on that you can check out. But what I will say is that despite the people at the bottom and the people at the very top, there is room in the middle, and I don't feel like it's being eaten up. I feel that what people are doing is that they're not really getting the big picture, and they're wanting to do things their own way and then be successful, whereas it kind of doesn't work exactly that way. Yes, you should do the kind of work you want to do, and I absolutely believe you should only work on projects and clients that you like and believe in. That's what I do. But there's a caveat there. One, if you do that right out the gate, you can't scale and become successful, or if you do, it'll be very difficult and very challenging, and you'll have a lot of lean times in between. Now, if you work hard and put quality work out there, you can eventually grow to that point and then say, okay, these are the clients that I'm going to throw in a life raft that I want to continue working with, and these are the clients that I'm going to fire because they're too difficult for the money that they want to pay, and they can go to another provider that's more appropriate to where they're at and what they're willing to offer and the experience of working with them. So that's what I would say about that. As for, okay, maybe once upon a time, those of you who are more seasoned in the profession used to command these prices or this or that, you have to think about, well, what happened to the demand for what you were offering? So in this case, I might be talking to, and also what was the exclusivity of that profession? So if you were in a profession where it was very exclusive for a time, maybe that might be print design and motion graphics. Okay, 10 years ago, you were valued here because there were a handful of guys and gals who could offer what you were putting on the table. Now, everything's more affordable in terms of the software. You have Creative Cloud, you have all the other options. You have, people being able to afford things like Corel Draw. You have subscription models for Studio Max, Max on Cinema 4D, etc. So now the entry level, and there's other programs out there that are cheaper now. You've got things, if you're on the motion graphics side, like Anime Studio, Motion Graphics Maker, all these other different things that are making the entry level to your profession and grabbing the skills a lot more accessible. On top of that, with all the college loans, even with the debt and the problems that creates, with more people going to college and going to places like Full Sail and this place and that place to learn these skills, there are people that every 3 and 4 years, are coming out with skills to be competitive with you at a lower salary and are relevant in terms of the media and entertainment market and fit the demographic of what's selling, so they have insight to that you might not, because they're younger, so they know what their own demographic wants, probably more than you do. Your experience isn't going to help there, per se, and that's the problem. So if you allow yourself to not be in a position to compete by not remaining relevant and by ignoring market trends, and also by understanding that your market is bound to have saturation, it's not going to be an exclusive club forever, and you don't go out of your way to create even more value and you only try to trade on your experience, of course you're going to feel like the industry is dying, because the version of it that you knew is dying and dead, and in its place something else is coming along and is growing and evolving and getting strong, while your version of that world gets older and more decrepit. And I don't say that as a jab, but I kind of do. That's what's happening, and you have two choices. You can either evolve and you can respond to that, offer more value, whether that's through being able to offer the same things plus your experience, or by making the experience, not your experience, but the experience of working with you, making that exclusive, making that so prestigious, making that experience so amazing and awesome that no one will ever want to leave, so you'll have the loyalty. So if you can build loyalty, you don't have to worry about that and you'll never notice the difference. And on the other hand, if you can't sustain that value, then you absolutely have to do whatever it takes to compete. So guess what? Design isn't dead. The world is your oyster. You know, you have more exposure and options than ever thanks to internet, media, video. You have unlimited ways to promote yourself for free at scale. You can reach large audiences. Before this, I could never, as a graphic designer a decade ago, have hoped to reach 20,000 people at any given time. Nope, that wasn't gonna happen. And the only way it could happen is if I got my work published, which did happen a couple of times back in 2010, 2011, 2013. So that happened. And aside from the stuff I did at the agency, that was stuff that was in Times Square, yes, like more people saw that. But in terms of my personal work being viewed on that grand of a stage, the grand stage we have with social media, YouTube, etc., things being able to go viral, things being able to be retweeted, and the direct access to where you can tweet at a art director or a creative director at a studio and show off your work or portfolio that way after you've built a relationship with them. Don't just do that right out the gate. Then that didn't exist 10 and 20 years ago. So again, it's a new world. It's changed. The game is very different. It's changed forever. Love it or leave it, but that's what it's going to be going forward. So again, if that fits with you and what you're going to do, I've offered you a lot of different ideas on how you can still be successful as a graphic designer. If you are seasoned and if you're someone who's new to the game, then congratulations, it's gonna be easier for you than it ever was for the rest of us. But again, people are gonna be successful, they're going to be successful. Regardless of the landscape, regardless of what else is going on, if you're meant to be successful, you will be successful because you will have the drive and the determination to find a way, and if one doesn't exist, you will make a way. My favorite thing that I know as far as a fun fact is that when George Lucas was making Star Wars, the ability to make Star Wars did not exist. The technology to make that film did not exist. He made a way to make the film that he wanted to make. So that is my advice to the rest of you. Find a way to create something awesome and put it out into the world. Anyway, like this video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out the other awesome content on the channel. As always, you guys, thanks so much for watching. And as I've already said, don't forget to create something awesome today.